Hello, I'm Jody Wolf, and you're watching Expoz. It is October 10, 2019, 11:44 p.m. Birmingham. Topic: the move that Trump is making in Syria with our men supposedly get boots off of the ground. Guys, this is going to end up fulfilling prophecy once again. And I'm going to tell you why. Just the presence of our country being there has stopped other countries from go ahead and wiping Damascus off of the map. Damascus would have been gone if we weren't there. But the shifting around, the moving around is also for Israel's benefit, although a lot of people, mainly on the left, are saying this is disastrous for the Jews. It's not. And but it's just given space, given room for those that God's going to put the hook in the mouth in. You know, just as he's going to lead them into Israel, he's going to lead them into Damascus, and that city will be destroyed. Well, you got to have that means of opportunity, whereas today they have it. 2 days ago they did not. So as far as Trump making that decision, it's more than likely God made that decision. And as far as Israel, they're none less secure now, not even a little bit than they were. And however, you know what Ezekiel 38 says? They'll go in to destroy the Jews and names off the countries, you know, Russia. And I keep saying I just don't believe Putin would do it. And still I don't believe Putin himself would do that. But I'm not saying Russians won't, because they're a Muslim nation, just about. Muslim controlled anyway in the military. Anyway, things have to progress. They have to move on. We're running out of time. And if by good measure or good faith or good health, the Jews are extended 80 years for their generation, there's only 8.5 years left. So in a year and a half from now, the tribulation needs to begin. So look at it like this. A lot has to happen before the church, before the tribulation can begin, and the church is still here. I think that the church will be yanked out of here pretty quick, in all honesty. So things can go ahead and move on, because we are standing in the way of certain events, certain times. People just won't make that move if they have a superpower standing over Israel, when the superpower that's standing over Israel is millions of times bigger than us, and that's God Almighty. That's why 87% of those that go in against the Jews, Ezekiel 38, will die, and the war will probably not last an hour. And then no one, from that moment, no one will go against the Jews, because they saw what the God of the Jews did to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people that came against God's people. We had to be out of the way in order for that to happen. I believe out of the way means rapture of the church. We're the only ones standing in the way. So that in mind, keep these things in mind. There won't be another war after Ezekiel 38, not even when you get to the midpoint of the 7-year tribulation, when the Antichrist, or the false prophet rather, steps foot into the temple to desecrate it, demand that everyone worships him as God, but 2/3 of the Jews will be cut off that day. That day won't end before 2/3 of the Jews die. A third of them were able to escape. The 2/3 that died, I hope and I pray that most of them, if not all of them, were saved. I believe at that moment they called out to Jesus. At that moment that the temple was desecrated. But they died, which is biblical. Now, you have, again, I have in the past many times said that the armies that go against the Jews will be so horribly destroyed that they'll never be able to have the ability to make war again. And I'm probably wrong there big time. And let me say why. It's not likely that they're going to send their entire militaries from all these countries that's going to go against the Jews. I can't see that happening. I can see small countries sending 5,000, 6, 7, 10,000 men. I can see Iran sending 200,000, maybe more. I can see the same number coming from Turkey. I see the same coming from Russia. So when you add them up, you got 1 million, maybe 2 at tops, million people that'll come against the Jews, and God will wipe out 5 out of 6 of those. But it won't reduce their ability to make war again, but they won't, because they know what the God of the Jews will do against them if they do. So, with that said, a lot of countries won't even be involved. They'll be hiding out, mainly as groups of people getting together and try to stay hid during the 7 years. Does not mean that all these that are hidden are saved by any means. Probably the bulk of them are not saved. A small remnant will be saved that makes it through the 7-year tribulation, which they will proceed on to the 1,000-year millennium, where they will replenish the earth, along with that several thousand Jews, or millions rather, that was saved, the 1/3 that went into Petra. They will also replenish the earth. So in 1,000 years, this earth may have 20 billion, 30 billion people, maybe 40 billion people on it. We don't know. But sadly, a very large number of those will once again, after living in perfect peace for 1,000 years, once again Satan will be loosed for a season, and he will draw hundreds of millions, if not billions, to his side and do just what they're doing today. But that's biblical, it is prophecy. Just watch the Jews. And I see if they destroy Damascus, then guys, look up. We're going home. Jody Wolf Expoz.